All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome, and thank you for being here. We are just about to get started. Thank you so much again for joining us tonight for Building Your Financial Team. We're happy to have you, and we are happy to have our partners at Campus Credit Union here with us tonight. We have over 50 people signed up, both virtually and in person, and we just want to thank you once again for being here. My name is Sophie Matthews, and I serve as the Student and Recent Graduate Engagement Specialist for the CSU Alumni Association. One thing we do want to point out for all of our events is that many of our attendees today are CSU Alumni Association members and Canvas Credit Union members. Thank you all so much for your membership. It makes events like this possible. It means the world to both of us. Once we get started, I will include more information about membership in the chat for those of you joining virtually. We will also be sending out the recording of this webinar and some additional resources after tonight, so please be on the lookout for that. Later on in the event, I will be putting a survey link in the chat as well. If you could please take a moment to fill that out, we would greatly appreciate it. It will also be in your post-event feedback form. All right, and now I am excited to introduce you to Nancy Patone from Canvas Credit Union.
Good evening, everybody. So thanks for joining us virtually and our brave soul who joined us in person. We're going to have just a conversation tonight about your financial team. And the concept of this class is that we don't know everything. So we're experts in our own field of work, but we don't know everything. We can't keep up with everything. So we hire out professionals. And in this case, we're going to talk about the financial professionals, literally that can take your money game to the next level. So we are using chat if you're online to communicate. And Sophie's going to be watching for that. So if you have questions or comments, anything that you want to add to the conversation, put it into chat. We're also always curious where you're watching from. So if you want to just get the keyboard warmed up, tell us where you're watching from. And then I think the other question I wanted to ask just is related to this next list. These are the professionals that we're going to be talking about tonight. And I wanted to know if anybody who's attending is one of these people. So if we have any insurance agents or financial advisors or CPAs, would you add that to chat as well so that we know that we have an expert in the house and we can ask some questions of you as we get to your topic. The way we're going to approach each professional is we're going to start by saying, what does this professional do? Do I need one? Where do I find one? And are there any challenges we should be watching for? So I do want to ask just real quick so you can throw it into chat or shout it out. Does everybody have medical professionals they use? So does everybody have a primary care physician? A dentist? An eye doctor. I'm trying to remember what all my physical professionals are. I am also curious, how did you pick them? So again, Sophie's going to be watching for chat. Tell us, how did you pick those professionals? And I'm sorry, I don't remember your name. Sean, do you mind telling us how you picked a professional?
Well, I actually don't have a doctor right now, but I do have a financial advisor.
Okay.
I met him through an event at CSU. It was a financial thing for grad students.
Sure. So a personal referral or a personal meeting, a networking situation, and you met someone that you were able to relate to and connect with and thought, yes, I would be willing to have a further communication on a professional level. Yeah, so that's great. And let's think too about the other kinds of professionals in our lives. So I said that we can't all do everything. The other one that I consider really critical sort of professional are all the maintenance people in our lives. So whether that's your car mechanic, the person you trust when your laptop ceases to function, home repairs. Again, is there any way that you connected with any of those people that's different than the way you connected with like your medical professionals. So, Sophie, we'll just give it a second, see if anybody responds in chat about how they got any of these professionals in their life.
Yeah, we have someone saying that they don't have any of them yet.
Okay.
And then I will just contribute as well. Mine were all personal referrals as well, or
Yeah.
having a mentor or a parent or a family member kind of set it up for you.
So a lot of times, I mean, you'll hear me as we talk about all these professionals say, well, where do I find one? And I mean, you can literally Google and find somebody, but I'm going to suggest over and over again that if you're looking for someone to be this profession, represent this profession in your life, you probably want to get a referral from somebody. You want to talk to someone who's had a good experience with them. So that's our first takeaway is, one of the ways that you find these people is not just Googling, but actually connecting somehow in person. So I'm going to start with talking about a personal banker, and that may not have occurred to you that that is a financial professional, but in fact, personal bankers can do an amazing number of things. So they're also known as loan officers or consultants or member service representatives, or there's a lot of different buzzwords around this occupation. But the concept here is that they are kind of like your primary care physician. You're your first entry into any of your financial decision making. They know about basic banking, the things that you need just on your banking life, which kind of account, what's the rate that's going on right now, what kind of loan is going to help me achieve what I need. And they're also a great source of referrals. So often these frontline personal bankers know a CPA, or they know the investment advisor, or they have a trusted relationship they can refer you to for insurance. So this can be, again, that entry level of here's where I get started in figuring out some of my financial professionals. I do want to encourage you to have a personal banker if you possibly can, because they keep current on what's going on with trends, with products. The financial world I've worked in for 17 years, and it has new products all the time. There's new concepts, new ways of doing things that come out. We all know the economics of the world changes, and therefore things change. I would ask you, what's going on in the economy right now that a personal banker might be a great resource for information on? And no response from our online folks. What's happening right now is that interest rates are going up, and they're going up a lot. So loan rates, if you were to go get a loan today, as compared to 6 months ago, the loan interest rate is much higher. By the same token, if you were going to go open a savings account today, the savings interest rate is much higher than it was 6 months ago. So the world of economics shifts all the time, and a personal banker is up to date on what's going on with those new products, what's going on with rates. Is there a new kind of car loan? Did they just start leasing and they didn't used to do that? Maybe there's a promotion. I'll clue you in that Canvas is going to do a Black Friday special. We have an amazing savings product that's going to be available. So a special promotion. So these frontline people can really help you by staying up to date just with your basic banking that you need to get by, And they do receive training. They do get up-to-date information. It's, again, that primary care physician of the financial world. The cool thing about a personal banker, as opposed to a primary care physician, is that you don't have to pay them. There is no fee that goes with using a personal banker. So they can be found inside a branch or online at banks and credit unions. I did mention that I'm going to try to share some of the challenges that go with each of these professions. And kind of the challenge with personal bankers is if you have a really good personal banker, chances are they're going to get promoted or they're going to get shifted around to a different location. So sometimes if you find somebody really good, it can be tricky to keep that relationship where you just walk in the door and there they are. I did want to quote from one of our Canvas personal bankers because it does convey the concept that most of these people have, which she said, "I believe knowledge is power. I love to give members knowledge about credit, managing debt, tips on managing money. I will never try to sway them in a direction that does not benefit them." And that's really what most of these frontline people, that's their approach. They're genuinely looking for, I see your situation and I'd like to suggest that you consider this. So those are personal bankers. Another potential challenge with these guys is that they tend to be able to offer a product that's only available where they work, the financial institution where they work. And that's what I was going to say about personal bankers. So if questions or comments, get them into chat. Otherwise, we'll move on to our next professional, which is an insurance agent. Again, so somebody in chat said they didn't have any of these professionals. I'm curious if anybody has an insurance agent, an actual warm body you go to for your insurance, or so I'm looking for that, and we will talk a little bit more about the different kinds of insurance agents, but looking to know if anybody actually has a person they go to. Insurance agents, sell insurance, right? But different kinds of insurance come from different sources. And so depending on the product and the insurance product, we may or may not have an agent. For instance, I bet a lot of you have life insurance, health insurance, and disability insurance through your employer. Okay. And although we have that coverage, we didn't get it from an agent. We didn't seek it out and decide which policy to get. It was just part of the deal that came with our employment. We could decline to get it that way, and we could go find somebody to provide that insurance, but it would probably cost more. So on the flip side of that, it's highly unlikely that we have our auto insurance through our employer. We have to go searching for that. We have to shop around. We have to find a company we trust, a person we trust, and figure out all those choices that go with buying a policy. So depending on the kind of insurance will probably dictate whether you use an agent or not. And again, anybody, Sophie, that said they work with a particular person? Doesn't look like it. Okay. So increasingly, we have the ability to work with an insurance company online without actually being assigned to a person. I've done this sometimes when I'm looking to make changes or getting quotes, and I end up just calling the main number and talking to whoever answers the phone or picks up the chat conversation. And I've had some really dynamite service that way. By the same token, if something goes really sideways or wrong, it can be really helpful to have a person that you walk into, look in the face and say, now what do I do? So there are valid reasons to choose an actual warm body to work with instead of just doing everything online. And then there are all kinds of products that insurance agents sell. Life insurance obviously is related to how long we live. Health insurance we usually get through our employer, but you can pick it up on the side as well or through the exchange, related to our medical situations. Disability insurance is about, am I broken? But I'll get better. Auto insurance, home insurance are protecting our things. There's something called an umbrella policy that can protect a bigger chunk of money and property and things all under one policy. And so that can be convenient depending on your situation. Business insurance is if you own a business. And long-term care insurance is kind of the latest thing of new products that came out. So keeping up with all of those things can be challenging. That's why professionals who sell insurance have got to go through training. They have to be licensed. They have to go through recertification and keep up to date on their licensing. And so in our effort to try to understand the complexity of it, having an insurance agent to talk us through it can be really helpful because they have to stay up to date with what's going on. So everybody needs insurance. Do you need an agent? Personal choice, and probably dependent on the kind of insurance you're talking about. All right. Where do you find an agent? Google? No, I would ask around. I would talk to some people. I'd say, do you have a good experience with this company? As well as, do you have a good experience with this person? And I want to define agents and brokers because this is going to come up in a couple of the different of these professionals. When you have an insurance agent, they sell products from one company. So it would be that I'm Nancy Patton with Allstate Insurance. All of my products are from Allstate. If I'm a broker, well, and an independent agent could be Nancy Patton at the Nancy Patton Agency, and then I could sell from Liberty Mutual in Zurich, and I could pick up different companies that I would sell to you. So a difference between being a captive broker where you're only managing one company's products and managing multiple products. And then there's a broker and you're like an intermediary. You help match up a company with a person. One of the things that is worth considering in your search for an insurance company and an insurance agent is if there is a discount available somehow. I happen to know that the CSU Alumni Association offers a discount with a particular insurance company. Canvas Credit Union offers a discount on insurance by going with a particular company. And so sometimes if you belong to a professional group or your employer, lots of places where you can pick up a discount on the insurance product, worth checking out and looking around for. And then I think the biggest challenge with staying on top of insurance and the biggest advantage maybe of having somebody you can call up and say, hey, can we review my stuff, is that life changes, right? We get married, we get divorced, we have kids, we receive inheritances. Things happen in our lives that change up how we should be approaching our insurance. And it's tricky to do on your own. It's nice to have somebody to run ideas past. That's our conversation about insurance agents. Happy to know if there's any questions. Otherwise, we'll keep moving on.
So I had someone actually email me a question.
Oh, okay.
So on that note, if the chat isn't working, please feel free to email and let me know as well. We can fix that. But someone asked, what is the benefit of switching now to a new insurance agent when you may have currently been covered by your parents or your guardians as well?
Yeah, so shopping for insurance is super fascinating. Almost as interesting as insurance conferences. A lot of times you will get a fabulous introductory rate no matter what the insurance product you're searching for is, when you first get started. So it can be really wise to shop around, and because in it competing for your business, you may get some amazing offers. The other approach to that is, if you're switching off your parents, you might go back to that agent, that person, that company, and say, hey, I've been with you guys. My parents really like you. What can you do for me? But this is absolutely one of the areas where shopping around and saying things like, well, I'm getting a quote from so-and-so as well, is really helpful. The other thing is, this has been at least my experience. When you get in with a company, there will be this really low introductory offer. Chances are it will go up often. The cost of insurance just generally keeps going up because we keep having things like COVID and wildfires and hurricanes. But in general, because there is so much going on, insurance costs must rise for insurance companies to be able to do what they do. But that is, again, every time you get a renewal, every time you get an announcement about here's your new cost, it's a great time to ask some questions and go shopping around and ask for those referrals. Who do you know that's had good experiences with the company? I probably riffed on that way too long, sorry. But yeah, boy, this is one of those shop around for sure. And if you get a renewal and it's gone up, call them and say, why did it go up? What can we do? How can you help me manage this? You're paying them for that. Get the help that they can offer. All right, let's talk about financial advisors. All right, I know at least one person in the seminar has a financial advisor. So again, if you don't mind throwing into chat, do you have a financial advisor you work with? And just like insurance agents, these guys come in a couple of flavors as well. So they have a whole bunch of names. You could be a financial advisor, you could be a wealth manager, certified financial planner, financial planners, investment advisors. They're housed independently. They represent individual companies. They represent multiple companies. They come from banks and credit unions. There are so many different ways you can find financial advisors, and they work a little differently, and they have those initials after their names that can be confusing. So we're going to talk through a little bit about what they do. In general, they are selling products. So they will be able to sell you stocks and bonds and 509 plans for your kids' college education. They'll be able to sell you long-term care insurance and annuity. All of these different investment kinds of products they will be able to sell you. They also should be able to give you services, consulting, advising, helping you understand things. So you're paying for access to the product, understanding of the product, but you're getting their advice, their insight. They will help you with basic things like, are you sure you have enough insurance? Do you have a budget? They'll look at your whole financial picture, because the point here is not to be so focused on the future that you can't live in the moment. You've got to be able to live in the moment and look at the future. And so financial advisors can help you with that whole complex, full, well-rounded picture. You can buy these kinds of products online, but again, unless you are heavily invested in this world already, this stuff can be amazingly confusing. And so to keep up with it and to understand it and all the terminology is usually why people go with a financial advisor. It's just such a complex topic. You can't stay with it. And with the new products that come out and the new legislation and the new rules. So one of the things we want to stress is that if you are working for an employer who offers a plan, and depending on what kind of employer it is, it'll have different numbers and letters. You got 457s and 403s and 401s and 401A. But your company will offer a retirement product in all likelihood. And that will come with an advisor who's available to you at no charge. So I hope you all are plugged into, if your company offers any sort of matching fund, I hope you are taking advantage of this ability to get plugged in with with future money thinking, and then meet with the advisor. So I literally came to this class after meeting with the financial advisor from my husband's company. We had selected funds, how we wanted to allocate things many years ago. And times have changed and we have changed, and it had been way too long since we actually met with anybody. So now we have a mission that we are going to go and change a bunch of things, but it was a wonderful conversation. She explained things really well. She helped us understand which ones, given the markets that's happening right now, she would stay away from, and which ones she would plug into, and how she'd switch things up. And so it was an incredibly valuable conversation for free from a trusted advisor through the company my husband works for. So please take advantage of all those kinds of things. And then in addition to that, you can plug into your own advisor beyond what the company offers if you're going to be investing in other things, for sure. Again, you are going to pay for a private consultation with an advisor, partly because they have to go through so much training. They have to take unbelievable exams. They are licensed. They have to keep up with recertifications. There's a reason you're paying this person. They have a ton of education that they are keeping up with so that you don't have to. And our need for these, do I need one of these? That may change as time goes by, as the complexity of your financial situation changes. How you feel about that may change, and you may choose one where you hadn't chosen one before. These guys also are a great source of referrals for other financial professionals. So any comments on that about why you'd need one? A lot of people with this topic are comfortable kind of going with a generic person, the company advisor, doing things on their own while they're contributing money to the account. And then when it comes time to take money out of the accounts, they feel like they need some advice. So that's one of those situations where as time goes by and things change, you may change your approach to this professional. Where do you find them? So somebody in the room found one at a networking event. I found one through company. I found one because I was doing a lot of education, and I really trusted how this person was presenting their education. Financial advisors are on staff at banks and credit unions. They have their own private firms. Like I said, they're available through your employer plans. It seems to me like they're on every corner sometimes. It's like I go to a neighborhood picnic or a family reunion, and sure enough, there's a financial advisor who would just love to talk to me. So sometimes it feels like they're everywhere. Again, this is one where you want the relationship to be really comfortable. Do you trust them? Do you understand them? Are they talking down to you? Are they talking above your head? Can you understand what they're saying and referring you to and recommending? There is a website on the screen, the Broker Check, that is a way you can see if there have been complaints filed against them. Make sure that their status is accurate and up to date. So if you're just meeting somebody at the neighborhood picnic, this would be a great place to start to be sure they're all set and not under censure for something. The fees are going to vary with financial advisors. Everybody needs to get paid somehow, but there is a wide variety of ways in which these professionals get paid. And then I really want to stress that you be comfortable with them. Again, this is the kind of situation where, depending on how they're set up, they may only have access to one product. So if they're working for Charles Schwab, they only have Charles Schwab products. And so you have to decide, am I comfortable with that? There are some that will only work with people with a certain net worth. So as we are getting started in the financial world, they may not want to work with us, only high net worth clients. And then ask them, what do you like about this job? What's a challenge for you? Why did you pick this? How do you get paid? Those are all extremely valid questions to ask an advisor that you're considering working with. And again, we'll just take a breath for a moment and see if anybody has questions or comments about this one. It's just such a complex topic, and it keeps changing. And I'm sorry, I have, even after years of being in the financial world, this is one where I want help. I am not going to go pick my own mutual funds. I'm not going to study 14 pages of prospectus to see what this fund is doing and that kind of thing. So this is one where I really recommend that you have a trusted resource. Actually, the next one is one that I would strongly recommend that you have a trusted resource as well. Certified public accountants. Although I did our own taxes for years, I did our own business taxes. I did my kids' taxes. I did everybody's taxes for years. Finally reached a point where it's like, nope, we are past that. So CPAs, certified public accountant, focus on tax preparation and any kind of counseling or advising related to tax issues. They do tax preparation for either individuals or businesses, and some of them focus on one or the other, some do both. They are available all year to answer questions. If you're about to make a purchase or you're about to change something, the way you've got something set up, you certainly can consult with them all year round. And then they also often do audits. They will go in and do an independent review of the financials of a company or a nonprofit. So many people reach a point where they're just not comfortable doing their own tax returns. For me, that was when we started being landlords, and suddenly I had depreciating assets and I was investing a lot of money in repairs, and the forms just got overwhelming. And I don't know if you've noticed, if you haven't been doing your own tax returns for years, the forms keep getting more complex. Yes. Okay. So they do. And it's not like they take anything away. They just keep adding. And especially if you're a small business owner, it really can be overwhelming. So keeping up with increasing complexity in your financial life, there sometimes reaches a point where I need to have a professional doing this work. Again, they are required to have a college degree. They go through exams. They have licensing and ongoing continuing education to stay on top of it. My CPA is so cute. I love her. She does her own business. And the federal government is not known for being overly helpful in having timely information so that these people can do their jobs. It can be very frustrating. And honestly, if you land on someone who has made it through the last few years and is still doing their CPA job, love them, support them, pay them, because more and more people are getting out of this business because of the increasing complexity and challenge that it represents. So if you're in school to be a CPA, please, please, please stay with it. We need you. And if you know a great CPA, please give them love and flowers and candy and whatever it takes to keep them in their office doing their job. Where do you find them? Again, I would ask around, although there is a website there that lists Colorado CPAs. So if you just want to go by the name that they have, but I would again ask around. The Colorado Department of Regulatory Agencies, affectionately known as Colorado Department of Regulatory Agencies. I was thinking it was like Cora, but it's not. Anyway, there's lots of people who have to be licensed in the state of Colorado. And it could be the person that cuts your hair, it could be lawyers, it could be real estate agents. But this Colorado Department of Regulatory Agencies, you can look anybody up and see if they've had complaints against them, if there are fines levied against them, see their status within the examiner situation. It statistically is one of the least happy careers. So hope you're, if you were planning to study that, please stay with it. Pay no attention to that sentence. You must plan ahead if you're thinking about getting a CPA to help you with your tax returns. So the first several months of the year are just insane in their lives. First, they're doing individual returns, then they're doing business returns, then they're doing nonprofit returns. The first 5 months of the year just are insanity. So if you are looking for a CPA for next year, for your returns that will be filed in 2023, please talk to somebody right now. Go find who you want to work with right now. And just like some professionals prefer to work with high net worth clients or only work with businesses, CPAs are the same. They may choose to only do business returns. They may choose to only work with high net worth clients. So you may need to ask around to find a CPA you trust. Anything else, Sophie, anything coming in that we need to address?
Nope.
All right. Well, we saved the best for last. Attorneys, of course, have a stellar reputation. And just like the other professionals we've talked about, they come in a variety of flavors. There are a whole bunch of people that specialize in one area or another. When it comes to the financial world, the only kind of attorney that I'm really going to spend any time on is an estate planning attorney. They will help you with your wills, powers of attorney, the documents you need as you consider estate planning. But let's touch base just real quick on the other kinds of attorneys that are out there. You know, a lot of times you don't have one that's just your go-to all the time. You find one in a specific need, a time of need. So, of course, family attorneys are working on child custody and divorce issues. Real estate attorneys are working on purchasing or selling real estate contracts, that kind of thing. Estate planning, those are the ones that I'll spend a few minutes on with getting your will written. Do you need a trust created? That kind of situation. Personal injury lawyers. Do we all have our favorite personal injury lawyer? Because that's who does the big billboards and ads, the strong arm and all the others. So that's their gig. And then bankruptcy lawyers focused on helping people through the process of bankruptcy. So most attorneys specialize in some area. They don't do everything. They, again, have to have multiple years of college, exams, ongoing continuing education to stay up. All of these professionals, except the personal banker, are required to have ongoing education, extreme licensing, examinations by their association group. So they are truly professionals. A lot of people have some kind of life event that triggers the need to choose an attorney. And but we're going to just talk for a minute about estate planning attorneys. So you can find them at big legal firms, small private practices. If you work for a company, it is very possible you will have access to a lawyer for a reduced or free charge through your employee assistance program. So most human resource departments have some sort of EAP, employee assistance program, and you can access legal counsel or legal documents through your EAP. So that is absolutely an easy way if you think you have a simple problem and you just need to find a professional, but you don't expect it to be a big, long, ongoing situation. You may look at your work and see if you can connect that way. Again, referrals, especially if you have that specialty situation happening where you want to be sure that, I'm going through a really painful situation. I want to be sure I've got the right person that's helping me. So the place where you can go to see if they have things written against them, if there are complaints, make sure their license is up to date. That's that ColoradoSupremeCourt.com site. So you can get help there on checking them out. In general, an estate planning attorney is going to prepare just a couple documents for you: power of attorney for finance, power of attorney for healthcare, and a will. If you're in a more complex situation, they may do a trust. But those are the kind of documents. People say, well, I'm young. Why do I need an estate plan? COVID taught us, among every other thing, that having some of these powers of attorney in place can be really helpful. Powers of attorney actually help you while you're still alive. It has nothing to do with your death. It helps you while you're alive, but you're incapacitated and can't make decisions. And so to have those documents in place, I taught a class today. It was for a health organization, and they had multiple stories about how they see in action the value and effectiveness of having these powers of attorney in place. So, and if you have a family, if you have kids, having a will where you are the one selecting their guardian, these are important decisions that may make it that you need to actually consult an attorney and think about estate planning, even though you may not have a lot of money or you may not be very old. Those actually aren't the determining factors on having an estate plan. So, and again, just some challenges are that not every attorney is going to handle everything, and there are costs associated with it. So finding that trusted referral to the right person who can help you with your situation is kind of the tricky part. Those are the people that we were going to talk about for your financial team. And I think everybody should have a personal banker. I think the other professionals are people that you will decide you need as you go through your life. At some particular time, you'll decide, yeah, you know what, I really do need that. I need to find somebody to help me with that. And I want to be sure that we make sure that if there are any questions, but otherwise, I think I've covered all of the information I was planning to communicate tonight. So, questions? Anything about any of these that I confused you on, or you didn't get as in-depth as you were hoping for? Open for questions.
All right, we have some thank yous coming in. Perfect. All righty, well, while we wait for questions, I'll go ahead and just close us out today. So thank you again so much for joining us. Thank you, Nancy, for being here with us. If you have a moment to fill out the post-event survey, your feedback would be greatly appreciated. Once again, thank you for sticking with us with any technical difficulties that may have happened. We will be also sending you these slides as well in a PDF format afterwards. Again, the survey is linked in our comments here, as well as our event calendar. So if you are interested in coming to more presentations, if you are interested in seeing what we got going on at the Alumni Association, we would love to have you. So go ahead and click on that link and we will see you there. All right, if there's no other questions, thank you all for joining us again tonight. Have a great rest of your night and go Rams.
Go Rams.